A 1, 2, 3.
Gonna walk that promenade, yeah, we're gonna rock that promenade, be the talk of that promenade, looking for a star drifter, not a shapeshifter, lots to do and more to see, sweet sticks from a jump to tree, oh, oddities, opportunities, free advice, but not for cheapo gambling wheels, shaded deals, meet me back here tomorrow, please. Walk that promenade. Yeah, we're gonna rock that promenade.
Hello and good. No, I'm hearing myself. Hello and good evening for this Monday, December 18th, 2023. Star Trek DS9, Season 7, Episode 5, titled Chrysalis, is over, and it has been since October of 1998. But we're just getting started here 25 years later for our Live Long and Podcast review, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch. I'm Dave Maynard, joined with Kevin Millard.
Hello.
And Adam Woodward.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good. Week away from Christmas here, as we're continuing our journey to watch all these episodes. Good to be with you guys.
Hey, before you start, I got to tell you. So today, I know you've seen me post pictures from Vulcan, Alberta before, but again today I was driving through, and I can't resist. I got to pull the car over and take my photo. But so today, every time I get to Vulcan, I sort of miss the gift shop being open, and I found, there we go. Thank you. And then today again, the gift shop's closed till May.
Yeah.
It's only like seasonal. Like the Vulcans only are like only when it's nice. We're gonna sell.
I think only truckers pass through in the wintertime, Dave, through Vulcan.
Yeah, but you know, I don't understand what that registry is on the ship, because it's like 1995. I think it's reversed here in this image, but it's in but you're out there in Alberta. We're here in Ontario, and there's an episode of Star Trek DS9 to talk about here, Chrysalis, where a caterpillar turned into a butterfly and flew away, I guess, or something. Adam just watched this episode, Kevin, for the first time in his life, right? So he's fresh. He told me before coming in here. Of course, we've seen this, 25 years ago, and more recently as we came in for this podcast, having watched it. And I think this episode's problematic on a lot of levels. I think this episode's self-aware that it's problematic on a lot of levels. Mostly about the patient, doctor, trust issues and sort of conflict of interest. A few things were going on here. Kevin, how about you first? You want to start?
This, I don't know. They're going back to like season 1 Bashir when he's just a sexual pest. What is this? Oh my God.
He's
This
lonely,
is almost,
Kevin. He's lonely.
It's almost as bad as when Jadzia fell in love with that guy on the disappearing planet and was going to move there right away.
Right. Yeah, that universe that only like popped out, or a planet only popped out every like 50 years, and she was going to exist as like some kind of non-corporeal thing, which she didn't even know what that was going to be like. But
because he's lonely, he almost destroys this woman's psyche.
And like does some damage, I think, also to the other augments who are like involved in this storyline. But Adam, you were coming in. You were like, that was entertaining. I didn't mind that.
It was entertaining. You know what? I mean, Deep Space Nine Rhapsody, maybe a bit of something in there too. It's just
Deep Space. There's quite a bit of singing in this episode. Yes. Kevin, is that a factor in your sort of overall feeling on how the whole thing went?
Well, if they sang songs, that would be all right. But this do re mi shit, like, are we in the Sound of Music? What is happening in this episode? I can't deal with this. Like,
Do re mi, do
Oh.
re mi,
Do re
Oh.
mi, do re mi.
fa mi re.
Ba mi re do.
Did you pull the whole thing?
Do.
Oh, that's only that's
like
only
8
that's only
fucking
the
minutes
tip
of
of the
this.
iceberg.
It went for a good 4 minutes. That whole
Yeah.
scene.
I have a it's a 75-second clip. I have a couple that whole scene is quite a bit. This episode is mostly people in rooms talking. There's not any action in this episode. There's no real space stuff. It's
That's
all
what I usually like.
yeah but okay, like, but the whole thing with him, I guess, like, because we talked about like leading into this last week, because we were saying, oh, we're going to be talking about Chrysalis next, and Steve Shy's like, oh yeah, good luck with that. You know, I don't necessarily want to be here for that conversation, because I think he would, his criticism would be fair here. And it's kind of like Bashir being the doctor here, but then he starts dating her right away, and he says he loves her. I was like, you love her?
Did you watch this? Like, every time that he talks, you're thinking, oh, you just cringe. Like, oh god, like,
Yeah.
please stop.
I don't know if it's bad writing or if it's the performance or both, right? Or but there's a couple of things here where even though Brian's like,
Julian, she's your patient.
she's your patient,
Right.
right?
I'm supposed to be a doctor. I'm supposed to put my patient's needs above my own.
But that whole opening scene where he's walking across the promenade asking like Miles O'Brien for like a drink. You want to go for no, I gotta go home. Then he asks Odo and Nerys for to basically interrupt their date.
And join them on their date.
Yeah, you
Like,
always gotta come we have a third wheel, and they're like, no.
I could see if they were heading to Vix in their fucking uniforms, but they're obviously on a date.
Yeah, and they're like, no. They go, oh, this is too bad. Bashir says.
The only way he could have made that better was to be like, "Oh, Kira, you're looking good today. You mind if I join you guys?" Like
they did. They look smashing. They look fantastic.
Yeah.
The two of those.
Yeah, no, look great. They're like, no, see you later, Bashir. We're off. And then he doesn't quite know what to do with himself. Apparently, so he's reading medical stuff. It's not even quite. You can't even make anything out of this pad that makes sense. It's all doctor stuff. But he was reading in bed in those pajamas with presumably that teddy bear he always has. What's that? Kukalaka or Kumalaka? Anyway, but then he gets the call from I think it's a Nog who calls him out there. Yeah. In his pajamas, 3 a.m. We get a glimpse of the promenade at 3 a.m, which Morn is just kind of wandering. Morn's around, even though the Quarks is closed. And
this is a strong opening scene. I enjoy this till the teaser, till the opening.
I quite like this too, and that's what I'm saying. It was entertained. I was still entertained for this whole episode. I gotta say, it was bad, but it was entertaining.
Well, I think the character of Jack is the one I struggle with here the most, because he's like the most borderline psychotic, and he threatened to snap Serena's neck in the past, and he's done some more egregious things. And here he impersonates a Starfleet officer, and like even after that, once we get past the credits, Sisko's like, these guys, man, come on, Doctor, I can only let so much slide. The Federation do-over only going to apply to a certain extent.
But I love the that's a stupid question.
Oh yeah, well they just that's how they got everywhere.
That's a stupid question.
And they're like, what is? He's like,
That's a stupid question too.
and that's how they got past all the. He just had an admiral's uniform, and just said
Later on, we get to see it at work.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, he does it later on. Yeah, exactly. To the guy in the hallway, they're just like, he's not even in a uniform. It doesn't matter. It works. It looked good here, but and then Serena, we brought Serena to you. That's the whole thing. You wanted to do a surgery on Serena, and you were thinking about bringing her to the station. Well, we just kind of jumped the gun and we brought her. And he's like, well, you're gonna get in a lot of trouble here for impersonating Starfleet officers. That's like a big crime. But they're gonna try to help Serena. So it's kind of like a family reunion here. I guess it depends if you like this crew. This family of the augments that Bashir is inherited since his I guess around season 5. This is when this was introduced, right? So
I like them. I'm glad they didn't use them more. But They're
We
okay.
we basically got 3 episodes with them over the course of the whole show. This is the last one. So, it depends, so it's, and it's how it ends with Serena. It's kind of a weird, and because, she was supposed to have a thing for Jack, remember? Like that was the crux of one of the episodes in the past was Serena was like, had the crush on Jack. There's no hint of that here at all.
No,
she goes right for
whatsoever.
Right. But okay, there's even more kind of weird things here. Yeah, so okay, Cisco's hilarious in the scene. He's like, "Come on, doctor." It's
They meant well.
They meant well. That's the same excuse you gave me when they were caught trying to pass military secrets to the Dominion.
They were trying to save lives.
Doctor!
doctor. He's like, "Come on, I gotta talk to the admirals, the real ones, not just Patrick ones." Right. This is the only scene Cisco has in the episode, really, and it's just him going like, "Okay, let me I want to come out." Okay, I think just to note, this episode written by Renee Echeverria, directed by Jonathan West, and I think some of the writing is my biggest contention with some of the episodes, some of the choices, not this scene. This scene's fine. Cisco is just like, okay, these guys are here. You want me to smooth things over with the admirals and whatever. You got to give me something. I don't even know what that was, actually. Then back down. He said, get them down in the cargo bay. They're moving back in, still wearing the uniforms. Oh yeah, that was the thing. Cisco said, get them the hell out of those uniforms right away. That's like the big deal. Which doesn't happen.
He doesn't even mention it in this whole scene. I was waiting for that, but
no.
What, to mention the uniforms?
Yeah, he doesn't say get out of here.
He does
eventually. He does it by the end. He doesn't do it though. It's not first thing. Cisco wanted him to talk about first thing. He doesn't do what Cisco tells him. This is the point. So it's a lot of we established Serena's catatonic. She's kind of trapped inside of her own head, but she's like a genius augment as well. And
this is where I can't remember her name, but she reveals that she's in love with Nog now.
Lauren.
Yeah.
Lauren. Yeah.
Who is this? Is this her only issue? Is that she's in love with everybody? And is this why she needs to be at an institute? I don't really get it.
Yeah, she's a sexual predator.
Okay.
That's the impression I get.
Well, I don't think she would force herself on anyone, would she? Or maybe she would. Maybe that's her.
I think maybe.
And with her genetically enhanced physique, she might be able to. I'll watch out for her. What about Patrick and these guys? I guess Patrick's kind of helpless.
So I was reading on Memory Alpha about this. So the group consists of the hostile and hyperactive Jack, the seductive Lauren, and the childlike Patrick, and the completely unresponsive Serena.
She's just too seductive.
Yeah, but I didn't find her that seductive.
I don't think she's an unmanageable amount of can we go to predator levels? I wonder. Maybe, I don't know. Nog would have to
if
be.
She's institutionalized, that would have to be.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. I guess it would have to be at least severe enough, right? Otherwise, it would make no sense.
Or women's rights have gone way back.
Yeah, they're like, not for augment women. We know, that's augment way. Okay, so the whole thing with this surgery was that that Bashir needs a microscope that's super calibrated, super refined, and it needs to break the laws of physics, which O'Brien can't do. And and he's like, well, come on, O'Brien, do it. He's like, I can't. I'm only a man. I'm not even an augment man. I'm just a normal human, not genetically enhanced. So Bashir is defeated, but then he thinks, oh, well, I can just go to my augment family guys, Jack and the bunch, and they're like, yeah, we can cook this up in a second, to bend the laws of physics.
I think one of the major takeaways from this episode too is that Bashir is a pretty mediocre genius. They are all individually way smarter than he is.
Yeah, he's a mid-augmented best.
Yeah.
He's a little bit better than that other guy. What was that guy's the brother of the Enterprise augments who didn't have any powers.
Yeah,
remember him? Except he had the hearing. I have their hearing. That was his one random thing. He's like that.
Bashir can play darts.
Bashir can play darts, and he can do math really fast in his head, seemingly, but not to make microscopes. to do these other things. So anyway, they did the surgery on Serena. This is quite a longer montage that goes on for a few minutes of the episode. We get some space medical show here. Really, that's kind of what this episode is. Working on her, he's doing the probes, and she's kind of catatonic for a while.
What do you think of medical uniforms, Dave?
Medical uniforms, I'm always puzzled by like this kind of scrubs look that they did on they used to do like the thing that cover the hair, but with them just having their hair out, I'm just like, what is this doing? Like,
exactly.
Like...
I mean, Dr. Pulaski, remember that episode where Dr. Pulaski was operating on Captain Picard's heart?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's like covered, and you're right. Where's the sterility in showing their hair here?
Yeah, like I was just like, why not just wear gloves? Like, wear your uniform and then wear gloves. So like, this assumed like this would be enough if this is what you're going for. But no, they wanted to kind of go give us the surgery scene. The medical gown, I think, is blah. It doesn't really work. Anyway, but that's an afterthought. Here, there's the Augment family waiting. Serena,
like, Patrick's uniform is a little tight.
Yeah, it's a little.
Uniform.
I think it's to make him like feel like more like a kid or something, or someone who's more proud-like. I think they do this deliberately.
When he was in Starfleet uniform, I mean, he looked with his hair back and all that very.
He looked all grown up, right?
Yeah.
And now he's back to like kid form, right? So Bashir couldn't figure it out. He goes and has this pity party conversation with Ezri. And she's like, well, are you done beating yourself up? Because I do that for myself too. She's like, you did make promises you couldn't keep. And she kind of really like lays it all out there for him. I don't know if this was great counseling. And I feel like this was an episode that needed a lot more counseling since she's the new counselor on the station.
Yeah. And they're doing it at the bar.
Yeah. Like it feels like this is more like a friend talk than a counselor talk, but I feel like actually a true counseling session would be in order here.
I guess. Yeah.
Anyway, he sees Serena on the promenade just outside the infirmary, just standing there in her gown, but we know it's her, but he has to kind of chase after her. And she's looking around. She's now awoken from her catatonic state. The surgery has worked and the miracle has been done. She's looking at everything. Her speech a little bit impaired at the beginning until she learns to master it.
He's like, finally, I have created a woman for myself.
Right.
Like weird science.
Yeah. Who kind of like weird science and she just wants to like please him, right? Like I think that's the kind of the creepy thing in the writing is that she's just so grateful and and like I'm like, well, she's never like, well, I used to be thinking for Jack, but now I'm really for you, Bashir. That's not even mentioned in this episode. That's like that the whole episode feels like it's like an episode of ER with like in Star Trek for some reason, and they're just assigning this role here, but it's almost like
she feels a lot younger than him as well.
Yeah, I think there's also I don't know, I can look at what their respective ages were at the time, but she feels like she's very childlike, she's very naive, she's just kind of grown in the world, and he's like, yeah, let's date, let's like we're moving in, let's do things, and no, she's like, no, I'm going off to wherever. Like at the end, it's amazing because she's just like, I don't even care where I'm going, for sure. Like it's anywhere but with you. Like she basically goes back into the catatonic state later in this episode because she just can't bear the idea of going into a relationship with him. I'm like, well, you don't have to. Like, but there's like, I feel like this weird. That's what I think the problem with the episode's writing when I really start like analyzing it deeply. Maybe I'm thinking about it too hard, but anyway. Let's get to the singing part. Do re mi, do re mi, do re mi fa so. La ti do.
Yeah, but I mean, she comes in the room and she's still not getting her speech is not developed yet, and so Jack, immediately makes fun of her and
yeah, and she's like, yeah, but he's right. He's right.
That's the one thing I like about Jack. He is so antisocial. Like it doesn't even dawn on him that that's not a thing to say. He just like, why is your voice all messed up?
Right. Well, he's kind of like, he's on that sort of social spectrum kind of thing. And
No
he's like,
filters. No filters.
no filters.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
It goes on for a while.
No shit.
They got a whole song out of it at the end, Kevin. Come on.
Like, there's 20 more seconds, and then they go into molto allegro, guys, which I won't even play all that for you right now. But
Molto allegro.
Do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do.
Do, re, mi,
This is the
mi,
better
fa,
one.
mi, re,
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol,
okay, that's
re.
all. But
And now it gets bad.
is this when it gets bad? Is this the peak of the episode? And is it all downhill from here?
I would say the peak is the beginning, but this is really where it takes a turn.
Does this work for you, Kevin? This whole sequence with them?
No.
Lauren on the bench there.
It did kind of for me back then, but now I'm like, I don't really know. Like, it's okay.
The idea that she's now pitch perfect, it's just insane. It's
I don't know. It was like, maybe it was more how like they were just so happy together, and this sort of like, this is what we're gonna do to celebrate. We're gonna sing a do re mi song.
That's the thing. They were just trying to show how quick she can adapt and learn and change and move forward,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, see, like show your smarts. He's smitten, He's like, look what I did. And then they were both supposed to go to the Hollow Suite, O'Brien and Bashir, right? That had been established earlier on in the episode, and apparently they never went. They just went to the bar, and Bashir just talked about Serena, and O'Brien just dealt with it. He's like, okay, whatever. You could just talk about this all night. This is I sat talking to Worf about stuff all night too. So this is apparently O'Brien's the old sounding board, and then eventually he kind of reveals it to Bashir, who feels embarrassed.
Look at him. He's just, oh shucks.
Oh shucks.
yeah.
Goes to his quarters, runs in. Now Serena's in his quarters. This was kind of where, like, I think it took a turn for me. I was like, why is she there? She's like, well, I can break in because I know
You only have a 6-digit code.
6-digit code. Like, it's very simple. Well, that doesn't make it okay. And like what Sisko was explaining earlier in the episode, he's like, these people just do whatever they want to do if it doesn't suit them, right? And so like that should be like an alarm bell, right? But Bashir doesn't see that. Bashir, I think, is willing to, I don't know, here, because he's trying to console her because she's scared, because if she goes to sleep, she might end up backing away, which makes sense. But I was like, this is maybe where you should go talk to Ezri, the new counselor here on the station.
But he didn't even think about that, Dave. He didn't think about it. You're right,
Yeah,
though. This is where he should go, okay, listen, lines are starting to cross here. I got to either back away or get somebody else involved. And
right. But
Instead, he decides sexual pest.
she
at
falls.
this point, he just falls asleep next to her.
She falls asleep on him, and then she wakes up, and then she solved some kind of like his whatever he was working on earlier. That thing he was looking at bed, she like fixed it because she's way smarter than him. And then she ends up like getting him breakfast and like sending him out the door to his surgery. Is like, I was like, this is what's going on here? Like, but he's like, you know what? I love a scone in the morning. That's my favorite.
On my way to surgery, yeah.
With jam and whatever else he is. No, like red leaf tea. That was the other thing, right? Yeah, I don't know. Like, anyway, the whole then we go into the cargo bay with the the augments, like Patrick and Jack, and them. They're talking about
this scene again. I like this scene. This
scene's good. This scene's good. When they're talking about the end of the universe, it's gonna eventually go out too far and then invert upon itself and be destroyed. And it's gonna happen one day. And Patrick goes, "How long?" He goes, "Like 16 trillion years." And he's like, "We have no time left.
We have no time.
Yeah, it's over." Like. We don't get started on this right away. I'm like, I thought you guys were smart though. Like, like that's a lot. you don't live that long. To be too concerned with that. But anyway, sorry. This was a funny scene. Yeah, more about Nog.
Oh,
The sexual predator, perhaps at work here.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah, she's into him now. I was like, I was okay with this.
Nog would probably be down with it.
Yeah, he would be. Then Serena shows up to hang out with them, and she says you can't change the universal constant and all these things. And Jack doesn't like that. They start kind of being like the social dynamic doesn't work really now because she used to be in a catatonic state, and now she talks and can disagree with them, which is causing some social issues, particularly with Jack. So when Bashir shows up later on, she seems to be back in her catatonic state, but she's not. Eventually,
they like me quiet.
They like me quiet. I just pretend to be. They're not used to be talking. So she just went over there and did that for like hours.
I guess.
Well, she could have just left.
Yeah, but she likes them.
Okay.
She's a comfort for them as well.
Okay, so when she goes to visit them, she'll just sit there in a catatonic state, probably for all
pretty
the
much.
visits. Yeah, and just like let them buzz around and
they just like her in the room. And look at these go. Ooh, look at this.
Bashir comes to ask her on a date, and they're not invited to this because it's out with friends. It's let's go out with O'Brien, Esri, Kira, and Odo. That's like. That's the social group we're going out with.
And Lauren goes, we're not invited. And they were okay with that. They were okay with that.
They were, especially Lauren. Lauren's like gives the makeover to Serena. I was like, whatever. Like, I don't think what she had on before was any worse than what she put on after. But sure, looking good. Going like this was kind of weird though, with like the boys and the girls and like this kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Going on the promenade. We're gonna rock that promenade, the top of that promenade out here with looks like they're drinking coffees. Well, some of them at least. The whole scene here, which we'll find that Serena is able to like assess them all. Serena, being super smart, can read all their potentials and things and what they do. And she's like, oh yeah, Odo shows you that. Kira, that he loves you with his actions, not with his words or something like that.
No, hold on, go back. If I sit down at a table and a couple I'm with is sitting like that, I am leaving. That is weird. All right. They've been together a while now.
It's a little while. Yeah, Odo doesn't care. This is like this is like the Great Link. This is like us Lincoln.
Oh, I guess, yes, it would be, yeah. Except for him, it would be significant.
Maybe he's willing to go with it more. Okay, then we get the kiss scene here with Serena on the promenade after they talk a bit about stuff. But
so, and you got to believe this is her first kiss. So he's like going way too far, too fast at this point.
Absolutely. It's just I just want to look up here because we have. Faith Saley played her. She was born in 1971, and Alexander Siddig at the time. I don't really know how old he was, but he right 65. Yeah, he's only a few years older than her, but I don't know. It just kind of it felt like he's going out with like a little maybe like a schoolgirl here. It's kind of the weird vibe I get out of the whole thing, especially the way that her hair is done. I don't know. Like I think that's probably why I'm a little turned off with the episode. But maybe it's a great romance story, and I'm just
no, it isn't.
It's inappropriate. He's a doctor. She's his patient, and a story.
Especially since they start the episode with him being lonely, and wanting love. And then he finds it in this patient.
Yeah. Which he knows is unethical.
Yes.
Right? Then he goes, oh, yeah. And he goes and tells the augments that, oh, guess what? Serena's not going back to the Institute with you. She doesn't belong there anymore. And they're not too happy about it. They're like,
So-
we, you know.
Yeah, but he alone can make that decision. Like, where's their caregivers at the institute, right? I find that again.
Yeah, and they say, well, why can't you fix us? Why can't I? Like exactly, like Lauren can't be her sexual predatory natures can't be downplayed with some kind of medication, perhaps, or something. I don't know. It's not possible to help her. She's too far gone. They say so they're pissed off at this whole situation by the end of it.
I feel like Patrick could be in society. Like, are people mean to like childlike people on Earth at this time? Like, I thought Earth was a fucking utopia.
Yeah, you feel like there's a job out there for Patrick somewhere. You know,
he doesn't even need a job. It's the future. He can
True. No, but he can't. He has to live in a cargo bay when he comes to the station. He can't even have his own quarters.
Dave, I just noticed that the top of that panel there, how to avert disaster.
A nice little subtle thing.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Okay, then they go play Dabo, guys, on their next date.
We're an excellent driver.
Where Serena was doing well. She was winning it all up, apparently, because she can count the numbers in the or something. And Quark tries to bribe them away with spring wine. You know, a lot of casinos, if they think you're like calculating the numbers, they'll just throw you out. But Quark's a nice guy about it. He's trying, but then just this idea of going because they come away from the Dabo table, and then Serena has this attack, which we'll find out is kind of not a real thing. Like, it seems like she's maybe the surgery didn't work and she's going back into her catatonic state, but that's not it at all. It's just like, I think the idea of being Bashir's girlfriend, I think, literally causes a psychotic.
Yes, she's been sexually harassed and now just starting to process that in her brain.
The trauma is just now coming to her.
Look at that look. Get away from me.
Yeah, there's a little bit of like, he's like, you know, and then he escorts her out. They go back to the quarter. He's like, yeah, I want to go to Rise. He talked about going to Rise.
Oh my god.
We just known each other and they're going to Ryza now. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is what throws her into a catatonic state, guys.
I know you've just had your first kiss. Now let's go to a sex planet.
It's just wrong.
Where's
the Miles talk? Where's Miles O'Brien's talk to him? He says,
they get the scene here. They throw in the scene. They're like, what if he should talk about it to O'Brien, and O'Brien is trying to fix a replicator on the Replimat.
Yeah, I've never met anybody like her, Miles. Like, she's just fantastic.
O'Brien's whole his body language, his everything is perfect. He's just like, yeah, I'm not so into this, Julian. You know, this is not great. But if you want my opinion, she's your patient. You should be doing all this. You're going a little fast. You know, he goes, I'm happy for you. I'm happy. Don't get me wrong. You know, I haven't seen you like this in a long time. But
then he's very defensive. I've already transferred her. She's now the other doctor.
She's now that other, like that doctor who's not even allowed to talk, you know, because they'd have to pay her the royalties. So she's just doctor whatever, and she's in the back.
Doesn't matter if you've transferred her now. The fucking deed is done.
The deed, it's already done, right? It doesn't really matter because like you've done the surgery at this point. Even if you transfer her case over, and ultimately when she does seem to go ill again, he does jump right in there. It feels like.
Yeah, it's not the other doctor trying to treat her now, is it?
I don't hear her say anything. I know he's still the chief medical officer. Like, I think it's ultimately kind of like it stops with him, right? So he prepares this big dinner. He's like, guess what? We're going to Ryza. You know, maybe we're getting married.
Well, that's what it was. Next time we'll have a quiet dinner in my quarters and maybe go to Ryza someday.
Right.
Leave coming up.
I've got a lot of leave coming up. Okay. By the way, a war is happening at this time too. You know, I don't even know why that's even an option for him. You know, like a Deep Space Nine is not like far from the front lines. Like Cardassia is very close. You know, like they're basically like they're in London and like Berlin is right nearby in World War II. Like this is anyway, but Serena looking out the window. She can still talk, but she's afraid to. As she goes in, don't call the counselor. Don't call Esri to see what's going on here. This doctor does nothing. Esri's there, but only there's like a friend to Julian. They ultimately go kissing on the forehead. They go to Jack and to Lauren and Patrick to try to get them to help Serena. Eventually, they agreed to help. Goes back to his quarters. Sees all that.
Poor Bashir, all lonely again.
Mopey Bashir afterwards. They've ultimately they figure it out. Instead of just calling him, they decide to go to his quarters. This was unnecessary.
I think they wanted just to do this gag.
They're like, what if he runs into this security officer who will get more lines?
Security officer. That's the best part. It's a security officer.
It's that,
have they not been briefed on who's on that station?
Right.
That's a stupid question.
Yeah. That security officer got more lines than that other doctor, who might have come along and said, Dr. Bashir, do you want to consider the ethics of this case and how this relationship is progressing? Anyway, Patrick gives the news that Serena is, not truly in a catatonic state. She's just kind of faking it in a sense. And so Bashir goes and pleads with her. I'll do anything for you, Serena. I'll do anything. We'll make it right. And then she eventually comes at him and says, like, okay, well, I just don't know if what did she say, guys? Like, what was her?
I'm not ready. I'm
really not ready to go to Ryza with you, I guess, is kind of her point, and I think he's like, okay, yeah, too fast, too soon. I kind of rushed this. So then he's on the Replimat. O'Brien comes by, finds sad Bashir saying, what's going on? Is she gone? And he's like, yeah, she's leaving in a few minutes. He was like, I was kind of an idiot. And he's like, yeah, you kind of were. But you were lonely. You were lonely. It wasn't your fault. Don't worry.
You want to come over for some tempura?
Tempura. Keiko's making tempura.
Yeah, but he should stipulate, hey, stay away from my wife. I know your ethics are a little compromised.
Yeah, maybe we need a new doctor. Miles says to Keiko when they get home. Anyway, then she just she goes off to live a new life, being a research assistant or something on some other planet somewhere else. And, she's like, well, this was fun. You were my first kind of boyfriend, but, I'm not really looking to go too long-term. See you never. And that's kind of that. And then she doesn't even look back when she walks away. There's no like, this was really my true love and I have to walk away. No, there's really none of that. It's just kind of like, nope. And then he's lonely again. Mopey Bashir. Now watches the shuttle fly away at the window. This is maybe my favorite bit that they threw in, and they even threw the shuttle. We see the shuttle kind of fly off here.
Well, thank God she got away because, he's like the guy, when we were in high school and, there's always those guys that in their 20s that would date younger girls and they would have to control them so much. And,
right.
This episode reminds me of that so bad. It's just, now I get a bad feeling.
I think this could have been a good episode, a good premise, if they had focused more on the ethics and had some stakes for Bashir in this. Like Starfleet just found out about this and they're not cool with this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they didn't. They just focused on lonely Bashir and the quirky augments. So that the point of the episode is kind of lost.
Well, what is the point? What were they trying to do with this episode? And what did they actually do? Is sort of what I'm still struggling.
So is this the last time we see these guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Then it's stupid because there's no closure.
No, like it's like the other three go back to the Institute. Serena goes off to her life, and like this was a weird, dumb relationship. All it does is kind of make Bashir look stupid and lonely. And it's just like there's no any. Did he even learn a lesson here? No, don't go too fast, I guess. But
maybe
no, he didn't. I think that's what that last like him and O'Brien talking is supposed to be. It's supposed to be that investigation of the ethics of this, but it's like 4 lines, and he's just like, I fucked up, I guess.
back to work.
That's it. Yeah, back to work.
yeah, and Brian's like, whatever, come over tempura. Get over it. We'll eventually go do the holo suite. I guess this was just like a weird week at D Space Nine, and this is what happened. Bashir crossed some ethical lines, and
we started with Cisco at the beginning, and we didn't see him again. He should have come in and lectured him at some point, but
yeah, could have been a great scene.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's get into some fun facts here, guys. Or do you have any, Adam? Because I can get into it.
Yeah, I haven't really looked yet. Go ahead.
I'll get us started here. On reception, the actor who played Serena, Faith, Sally, said the best thing about being on Star Trek was being able to sing an aria with the camera spinning around me, a la The Sound of Music. That was the best thing. Speaking in the context of the Me Too movement, Sally praised the episode as a great modeling of appropriate male behavior, noting that the writers made it very clear that although Dr. Bashir had the hots for Serena, she was not required to reciprocate his affection just because A, he wanted her, and B, she owed him.
A model of appropriate male behavior.
That's what this episode is. That's what she said. That's what she said. The one who played.
Are they talking about O'Brien trying to counsel him not to do this?
I think just to make the point that I guess in other stories it would have been worse, but
yeah, I get the point. Like I get the she doesn't have to reciprocate. This is not a model for male behavior. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Oh my god.
Michael Dorn, Worf, and Sir Loft and Jake Sisko do not appear in this episode. O'Brien.
So I've got an interesting one here, Dave.
Okay.
The initial concept of this episode involved Bashir, Jack, Patrick, and Lauren and Serena going on a mission for Starfleet. However, along the way, something happens, and the 4 savants have to pretend to be Starfleet officers. Section 31. Section 31 was also going to be involved in some way. The plan was to focus on Jack, who would be temporarily cured of his neurosis. Jack would ultimately revert to the normal state and end the episode, and then be abandoned by Starfleet. So
that's a more interesting episode. I'd rather watch that, I think, than this, personally. Do you got any more?
Just keep going here. The scene with Bashir and Serena's kiss was reshot a month later after originally being filmed because it was too deemed to show as Bashir is looking too predatory towards her.
They had to reshoot it to be less creepy and predatory.
This was worse at some point.
This was worse. They did reshoots, guys, and they really cleaned it up. We should be grateful. We should thank the who made that call? I wonder. The director?
If you have to make reshoots because your main character seems too predatory, you might want to scrap the whole fucking episode.
You might want to look at is this really the story we need to tell this week?
Director Jonathan West found shooting the musical sequence very difficult, but he was very proud of how it turned out.
The musical sequence is maybe the best part of the episode.
I would say it was the best part. I liked it, and then it just got weird.
I think that the romance story is not for me, and I think that I think that a lot the people who play these roles do their best with what they're given, but.
Here's one more on the actual musical scene here. So the 4 actors playing the 4 savants all reacted differently to finding out that they were going to sing. Hilary Shepard Turner, who played Lauren, had been in an all-girl punk band in the 80s and had no problems with it. Michael Keenan, who played Patrick, enjoyed shooting it, and Tim Ransom, Jack, was found to be completely tone deaf and ended up having to be dubbed. And Serena, to your point, loved the experience given her background with musical theater.
Well, I want to see that version where he's not dubbed and we hear his off-tone ones, because he was the one who was saying that I guess they had to make him perfect because he's supposed to be like that's supposed to be something that Agame can do.
Molto allegro. Do re mi fa.
So they had to dub them
re,
all.
do re mi
because you couldn't just get Patrick's isolated there when they're harmonizing.
And
right,
that wraps those up. But anyway, yeah.
All right. Well,
still waiting for this season to get good, guys.
Well, it's a long road getting from there to here, but
we've been there. We've been there before. I'm waiting.
Well, the thing is,
it's your turn to be me.
Exactly.
Like we're just not feeling that war in the background,
not at all.
I just don't feel like after the way that season 6 ended, I feel like a lot of that energy and momentum's kind of lost here because they want to tell some smaller stories to start off this 7th season, like this one. And I'm just like the follow-up episode after this is what? I haven't even really looked at DS9. Treachery, Faith, and the Great River comes next. Oh, that's the one with Odo and the other Wayoon guy. Right? You remember that one, right?
Yeah.
At least that has more to do with the war, so I kind of liked it more. But
it's a pretty good episode.
It's a pretty good episode.
But this way to you, like for a show that's now in its 7th season, I find that the characters are very surface on the character, and maybe it's done intentionally to tell the small stories, as you said, Dave. But I'm here. I'm going.
Don't worry. There's gonna be like some really cool episodes and big like epic like battles if you're into that kind of thing, which I like them.
Oh, yeah, me too.
But it's like they make us wait because like they have 26 episodes to fill, and they're like, we're gonna give you Bashir is gonna do a surgery episode. It's gonna be a medical romance weird story, kind of predatory story. You're like, okay, well, can we get back to that Dominion War? That was kind of a cool storyline. Like, no.
That's rewatching this and talking about it every week has made me. It surprised me how few episodes actually have to do with the Dominion War. When you think about Deep Space Nine and watching it as a whole, you think it's a much bigger part of the show.
Yeah, it's like, every episode they're fighting a battle. Every episode the Jem'Hadar is this, the Dominion that, but not really. It's a lot of times you wouldn't even know that was happening at all. It just feels like an average day on the station. So, guys, let's rate this episode. Chrysalis. I'm giving this a 6.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm doing a 6 as well.
Adam, a 6.
Yeah, I'll go middle of the road. I'll go 5.
5. I feel like my 6 is too generous. I don't know.
There's a few good things in there. Like there's a few good scenes. It's not all.
No, it wasn't all bad at all. Not at all. But it was entertaining. I still think it's entertaining. I think it's creepy, but it's entertaining.
It's okay, creepy but entertaining. That should be like the executive summary of this episode. Chrysalis. I don't even like the title. I don't like. Was she turned into a butterfly? Is that what happened? No, 5.5. 5.5. I'm taking this episode down.
For the title.
Just for the title. I don't like the title. I just rethought about it. It doesn't deserve it. So, so this has a 6.9 on IMDb, which is much lower than any other episode since like Time's Orphan. That's the only other episode that's ranked lower. Oh, and Prophet and Lace was also not liked as well. Another Rene Echeverria story, guys. Okay, and then so as mentioned, next episode, Treachery, Faith in the Great River. Odo is contacted by Wayoon, who reveals that he wants to defect to the Federation. Meanwhile, O'Brien and Nog sail down the Great Material Continuum.
Well, half of this is good.
Okay, just don't say anymore. I'm gonna come.
So I don't really remember the O'Brien Nog storyline too.
Right, I barely remember it, probably for a good reason.
But the Odo and Wayoon storyline is great.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
And some of those scenes are amazing. So, And it's got a good ending. So, and at least it feels like more connected to the war and all that. So, we won't be back next Monday, guys, because you know why? That's Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
It's Christmas Day. Christmas Day. Will there be a recap next week? No, I'm afraid not, Sam. But he gave this a 6, guys, just so we know. But we'll be back. And what's the week after Christmas? That's New Year's Day. Do we want to come back on New Year's Day?
I can do New Year's Day.
I can do New Year's Day.
You're never doing anything on New Year's Day. You guys would do a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. We're coming back on New Year's Day, 2 weeks from today. Look out for that. What is on our Star Trek wish list for 2024? Well, we're be doing Discovery, Adam and I, this in this new year.
Do we have a date yet for that?
April. It sounds like April.
Okay.
So I think
that one's not on my wish list.
I know. So there will be Discovery in April. I assume Strange New Worlds comes after that.
I was happy to see they started production though on Strange New Worlds, which is
good. So I don't know if it will be ready in time for it to go right after Discovery ends.
It's probably going to be the fall, right?
Likely.
Everything will probably be delayed, right?
Yeah. That's just the way it is. There's a trickle down effect. We haven't quite even felt that yet, they say.
No.
In the entertainment world. Other than yes, Sam wanted to know about reindeer games. I'm begrudgingly been watching some of these Big Brother reindeer games, Sam, but I am not a Big Brother reindeer game guy. This is a Big Brother abomination where it's not, they're just like, they're playing like Christmas. Guys, it's not, I don't even want to talk about it. I can't. But
fine by me.
Anyway.
No, Dave, I want to talk about Big Brother reindeer games.
I don't even know what that is, so let's move on.
I don't even want to know what it is. It's a whole thing. Anyway, we're moving on. So I think, that will be it for this year, I guess, guys, for our maybe one of our last Star Trek podcasts for this year until we come back for the new year and come back for the treachery, faith in the Great River. Merry Christmas and looking forward to the new year. I've got all kinds of wishes. We're going to try to talk about all kinds of more Star Trek this year and do more Star Trek radio theaters. Like last night, did you guys know we were on doing Star Trek radio theater? That's
what?
It happened. At the beginning, 30,000 feet up. It was great, and then I lost your signal. So.
Oh, okay. Well, we appreciate you listening to us from that far up there. Kevin's, especially his, I think 49er, was especially great. He's like,
I love that episode, by the way. I think that's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and like Maud, who had never seen it before, he's like, this is really good. I think I'm going to watch Star Trek now.
That Jack London
André
character is
said
awesome
too. Yeah,
the Jack London. Yeah, I was like, Eamon, you got to be like this, like young whippersnapper, right?
Eamon was really good. He did great.
Yeah, he was good. We had a great cast in it. We had Jeff Aiken from the Starfleet Academy podcast. We had André Myette. Speaking of which, the United Federation of Podcasts, all kinds of great podcasts out there. André was one of those guys who was with us. He's got the Graphic Histories podcast. He's got Joe Eisma coming up in the near future. A whole bunch of great comic book artists and people from entertainment. The X-Rated show where they talk about X-Men. I was just on talking about X-Men the movie with Davan and André. Davan hated it. I liked it. André liked it too.
Is the first movie?
Yeah, the very first movie. We said it me and André felt it held up, but Davan is not a fan of that movie. Even though Patrick Stewart, and all those great things. Eamon on Track is my son's music podcast where we just talked to Kevin Millard about Pretty Hate Machine from Nine Inch Nails. He's going to be talking about the Pixies with André Myette soon, one of their albums. So look out for that, and then it could be this year. Hold Up Movie Podcast. Davan and Murphy were together tonight, guys. They were in person, and I don't think they're doing a podcast together. Yeah, well, I'm sure
they're still going.
I imagine some drinks were involved, so they probably still are. And the Super Mater Brothers podcast, guys. We are brothers.
We are brothers.
We have the finale of Survivor 45 this Wednesday, the 13th episode.
And then guess what, Kevin? They go into 47 the next day.
Season 46. Season 46 will be teased, of course, in the 3-hour episode that we'll be watching. So we'll be on at 11:10 on Wednesday night to
God.
talk about the finale of Survivor. Josh Foster will probably be. Oh, he won't be happy about being on that so late. But we're gonna Jaemeel
3-hour episode. Oh my god.
3-hour episode, and then we're gonna have a podcast for probably at least an hour. So
That's insane.
we'll be going into like Thursday night or Thursday morning, I suppose. So all those things, guys. We have so much going on in the network and in the podcast world. It's been a great year in the podcasts. Okay, we'll sign off for tonight. I gotta go out with a song, I think, right? Yeah. This was I want this one just before we play the song. Okay, thanks to Adam, thanks to Kevin, thanks to everyone in the chat. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year, and see you on the flip side.
They meant well.
They meant well. That's the same excuse you gave me when they were caught trying to pass military secrets to the Dominion.
They were trying to save lives.
Doctor!
Do, re, mi, do, re, mi.
Do, re, mi, do, re, mi.
Fa, mi, re.
Fa, mi, re, do.
Do, re, mi, do, re, mi.
Do, re, mi, do,
re, mi,
Fa,
fa.
mi, re, do.
Fa, mi, re, do.
Now let's get out of here.